Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new tattoo update video. Hello everyone. What is the tea? What is the scalding hot Darjeeling? I hope you're doing wonderful. I hope you had a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, a wonderful afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world. I hope your day is wonderful. Do you know, I have a nose hair that I can feel. It's like here somewhere and it's really tickling and I can't stop. Ugh. I know that is exactly why you tuned into this video, to find out about my nasal hair. So today we are doing a tattoo update. Oh my gosh. Okay, so there was no way in hell that I could carry on without doing some kind of update now, just because I've had so much more like work done since the first time we did my tattoo reveal video about 6 weeks ago now. So I've had so many questions to show, to talk about, to just update everything on what I've been getting done and what is next and what is coming. A tiny reminder, if you haven't checked out my latest episode of Gag of the Millennial podcast with Luxaria, make sure you go check that out. We talked about Ask Reddit, went to the most popular Reddit in the world and answered some of the questions that were on it. Looked at some of the things that people have been saying. It was a lot. So make sure you go check that on my channel. It's in my last video. So go check that out. So first of all, I want to quickly just update you on the first session. So we did obviously the Mega Gengar here and then the Chandelier down here. So it has been about almost 7 weeks, I would say. It's been about 2 months. It's pretty much healed now. There's not really any texture at all. It's pretty much all just flat to the skin. That's sort of the main bulk of the aftercare where I have to constantly moisturize it. It's over now. I'm just moisturizing it every day like I normally would moisturize my skin. So it's healed really, really nicely. I'm super happy with it. So, on to the new things. Woo! So, first things first, we're going to talk about Sonic and Knuckles. So, we've got Sonic down here and Knuckles up here. Now, of course, I've had this a little bit more longer now. So, some of you have seen a lot of this in photos and like kind of just in videos anyway. It's kind of really difficult to show you on camera like this. This is still healing. It's not 100% healed. It's a lot better than the newest section, but it's still healing a tiny bit. But I am so ecstatic with how this session turned out. So we did this one, it was about a month ago, about maybe 3.5 weeks ago we did this, and we did a really long session. Now, I just basically gave him free reign to kind of do what he wanted on my arm. I gave him like a list of characters. So I sent him like a list of characters of everything I wanted, and we had it all open, and I was like, you position things wherever you need to get like the best result. Now for me, I didn't really have like a hierarchy of like, this has to go here, this has to be more visible. Like for me, I sent him everything and I was like, I love all of these characters. As long as they're included, I do not mind where you put them. He got the pens out and stuff and started drawing on my arm and did all the different shapes and things and was like, go look in the mirror. Look, it goes all the way up there. It's delicious. That'll be so good. Ah, I'm excited. We're gonna get going. Now, I absolutely love how Knuckles is kind of like this big part of my shoulder. And when this is like tattooed red and then Sonic is like bright blue with the black checkers around the outside, it's gonna look so good. The color is gonna absolutely pop. We also, of course, have some rings, sort of like there's one here and there's a few rings going around the back. It actually goes back quite far. So it does go back all the way back there in my shoulder. So it's actually fully like on my entire arm. And can I just say as well, I was so ecstatic when I saw this. I was like just completely like shook to the core. I was like, yes, it's so good. Yes, everything I wanted. As you know, I do have a big Sonic buckle that I have on my like belt. And I just love Sonic. I've loved Sonic ever since I was a kid. And I wanted Sonic and Knuckles and not Sonic and Tails, just because Knuckles is infinitely better, in my opinion. This has been so much easier to heal. I think because obviously it's out the way, so it's not like touching things as much as like this part of my arm did. And of course, when we did here, we did some tattooing here, so I wasn't able to kind of like bend my arm very much. But with this, there was no real kind of like part of the arm that like properly bends, so it was actually okay. I just spat so much then. I apologize if you could see the tsunami that just came out of my mouth. La 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 la. So we tattooed on the second session for 6 hours. I managed to I was very strong that day. Now I will say that I do think I have quite a good pain threshold. He has said that I'm on the better scale of clients that he's worked with when it comes to how long they can go for, and we did so much in this section. I was actually really shocked by how much we got done. And of course, Hyro, who is doing my tattoo at Morningstar Tattoos, he works so good as well. So we managed to get so much done in this session, and like obviously it goes all the way around here, around the back there. This part here, like this sort of main section here, really wasn't that painful at all. It wasn't actually that bad. And weirdly, like this section here on my shoulder, it just felt like a vibration. I couldn't even really feel the needle. I don't really know why. I guess maybe the nerves are slightly less sensitive here. But however, this part here, that was painful. And it like I could feel it like the nerves, because obviously how your body's connected with things. Like I feel like the nerves kind of like coming down here, and it would kind of hurt like a little bit down here on my side as well. That was a lot. I mean, again, nothing I couldn't handle. This part here as well, on the elbow, like this section here, that was quite painful as well. But obviously, I mean, he did warn me before that these are the most painful areas, and they definitely were. Now, unfortunately, I'm someone who is spotty, which is frustrating. I don't actually tend to get spots in my face. I don't really know why. I think I'm maybe lucky. Sometimes I'll get like maybe one here or something, and maybe a few blackheads on my nose, but like I'm not actually a spotty person on my face. I always seem to get spots on my shoulders, so unfortunately there's a few spots here. And I'm sure with all the, obviously the aftercare process probably irritated it a tiny bit, but the tattoo itself was absolutely fine. But unfortunately, I get a few spots on my arm, but I'm using salicylic acid now to clear them up. It's absolutely fine. I don't know why I get a spot on my shoulders. Like, I don't know if it's to do with the gym, and maybe like when I'm working out and like the rubbing, it might make it like, I honestly don't know. Now, on to the third session. So this has been the newest one, and this is one that kind of looks a little bit gross still. It's in like the peeling kind of like horror. It's in the ugly stage of the tattoo. So bear that in mind when you look at this one. It doesn't look delicious at the moment. It still looks a bit sort of like wet and a bit flaky. Like it's absolutely fine. It's just in that process. We had a few ideas originally, because you could probably see I have a Crash Bandicoot in the front of my arm now as well. And now originally I was like, I really wanted kind of Crash Bandicoot riding on the back of Spyro. And I was like, I was unsure if we could fit it in the space that we had, because you know, when you make tattoos, like, you know, the more you're trying to put into a tattoo, like the size wise, it's going to have to be smaller. And in this section here, I was like, I don't know if we have space to put Crash Bandicoot riding on Spyro and actually have good detail. So we actually decided against it in the end. But I was like, again, I trust Hyro so much. I was like, you know what? I want Spyro, I want Crash Bandicoot. You just kind of do what you want. You just like put them where you want to put them. Like absolutely fine. So we just did the drawing of Spyro on my bicep here. I'm absolutely in love. It goes around here. We're gonna start doing soon. This is obviously just the drawing first. And we're gonna start tattooing. I'm a bit nervous about this part of my arm because I know this part's gonna be very sore. But I've never filmed my phone this way. I'm super excited. I cannot wait. So I will see you on the flip side. Ooh. And I absolutely love it. I think it looks so cool. Now, I'm going to tell you something about this part of the arm. Now, it's most definitely the most painful part of the whole arm. I've had my whole arm now tattooed, and it was by far the worst area. Now, the main part of the bicep kind of here was actually bearable. It was actually fine. But this part here, where like the leaves are on my armpit here, that was a lot. And again, it kind of shot down like the pains down my side as well, just how the nerves are connected. But yeah, this part here where the leaves are, it was a lot. So when we first started tattooing, he was always like, the places that don't see the sun are the most painful. And I wholeheartedly agree. I can't remember the exact amount of time that it took. It's like maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We did a drawing for like an hour, and then he did the tattooing. It took about maybe 2 hours. I can't remember the exact time process of this one. And then we took a lunch break. Now, Hyro is known, like his speciality is like colorful cartoon tattoos, which is why I went to him. And we were talking on the lunch break, and he was like, I'm so excited to color it. Like, I just kind of want to get on with the coloring. So would you like me to do the Crash Bandicoot now? And I was like, yes, like let's fill the arm, bitch. So he got the pens back out and started like drawing on my arm. And obviously I can't really, it's very difficult when I'm like standing up to kind of like look to see what you're actually drawing. It's very difficult to see because you're gonna have to, he was like, stay perfectly still as much as you can just so your arm muscles and things don't move. So I know exactly where I'm drawing everything. So like, it was kind of difficult to kind of see what he was doing. And it was really funny because I had no intention originally during this process to go onto my hand. Now, I know a lot of tattoo artists can be a bit funny about doing hand tattoos, which I actually totally agree with, unless you're kind of like quite covered in tattoos already, like to do like your neck or your hand or your face is one of those places that a lot of tattoo artists will refuse to do. And then like, I felt like he started like rubbing on my hands and he was like, oh, actually no. And I was like, what? And looked down and he was like, oh, I was sorry. I was like, we're not doing your hand, are we? We're not doing hand tattoos. And it was really funny. Like, what is this fucking nose? Like, I just had to go take a break to trim my nose hair because I had a nose hair here that was like tickling me so much. It was so infuriating. And I know you're tuning in again to listen to my nasal hair stories. And it was so funny because he was like holding onto my hand like this. And he was like rubbing my hand going, oh, we're not doing your hand. We're not doing your hand, are we? And he had onto my hand and he kind of like paused for like maybe 3 or 4 seconds. And then like just like looked up at me like this. Because obviously I'm standing up and he's obviously quite low down. So he's like looked up at me a little bit like a naughty child and was like, Can I do your hand? And like, I know it's probably one of those things that you just had to be there, but it was so funny. It was like, the way he asked me as if like a naughty child asking to do something. It was actually quite funny. And I said, absolutely. I was like, yeah, go down on my hand, you do it. Because what he wanted to do was to add the Aku Aku mask, which is, I'm sure if you know Crash Bandicoot, what the Aku Aku mask is. And he was like, I really want to add the mask, but he didn't want to put like a little small one, kind of like just like up here somewhere. He actually wanted to be like a proper full face again, so you can add more details and actually have it looking really nice. And I was like, go for it. And he was like, are you sure though? And I was like, yes. He was like, are you sure? I was like, yes, do my hand. So we're doing a little extra session bit today with Crash Bandicoot and the mask going down as my hand. I can't wait. This is really cool. It's just like, this is like the final sort of like big part like to do. And then like the whole arm is basically lined up, ready for color scale. So I understand the apprehension of doing the hands. Now, for someone like me, I am going to be completely covered. And with my situation, with my job, I am my own boss. So I don't have to worry too much about getting hand tattoos and things like that. And of course, he knows what I do for a living. He knows, you know, I'm self-supporting. So he didn't mind too much doing my hand. And of course, I'm going to be, again, eventually I'm going to be completely covered anyway. So this wasn't like a stupid decision. Like, I mean, I've done my entire arm at this point. So it's very evident that this is a route that I'm going down. So this is the Aku Aku and the Crash Bandicoot. And I cannot tell you how much I love having a tattoo on my hand. I don't know if it's because of the taboo of having hand tattoos. He was calling them the job stopper. He was like, the reason I'm so apprehensive sometimes is because they're job stoppers. And it's completely true. I've already spoke about that. And I don't know if maybe it's the taboo of having hand tattoos, which is why I love having it so much. But I just absolutely love having it on my hand. I think it's because as well, like when I'm doing things, I keep catching it in my eye because it's literally right there. And I suddenly get this like rush of like dopamine in my body going like, yes, go. I'm very, very happy with my hand tattoo. But yeah, it didn't really hurt that much. I was expecting this section to hurt more, to be honest. I don't know why. I think when we next go, I'm probably going to get him to like sort of extend all the colors like all the way down to my knuckles, just so the full hand is like actually covered. But we did all that, and because we started here and this was actually quite painful, when we went to this section of my hand and my arm, like this is the least painful part of my entire arm. This was nothing, and I could have sat there for hours and hours and hours him doing that, and I was like, it's absolutely fine. And because this was so painful and we started with this, by the time we got to the front bit here, I was like, I could honestly just be here for ages. I was like, it's fine. And it got to like the 3.5 to kind of like 4 hour mark, and he was like, how are you doing? And I was like, I could honestly sit here for like another 4 hours. Like this part of the arm feels like nothing now. Nothing. So yes, this is my arm so far. It's properly covered now. I'm so ecstatic and happy with how everything is turning out. It's just everything I wanted, and it's so like wonderful at this point to actually start doing it. I've just been like wanting this for so long, and to actually be here now is just, it just feels so wonderful. So if I was to rate the arm process now of pain-wise, the most painful definitely is here, followed closely by like this undersection here, then the elbow here. This is the third. Fourth most painful is probably like the front of the wrist here, and then fifth is like the elbow pit. Everything else is kind of like homogenized into one sort of pain scale. But those are the most painful sections for me. I'm sure some of you agree. Some of you will disagree. The least painful is most definitely the shoulder section. and then this front bit of my arm here. When it comes to healing wise, the most annoying part to heal is definitely this armpit, just because it's kind of like always touching. And the second most annoying is this front bit here. This whole front section of the arm has actually been fine. Like I can't really like rate it because it's all kind of been the same. It's just been fine to heal. I am so happy. I'm just elated. And some of you guys are more excited than I am. But thank you so much for joining me on my tattoo journey. So my next session is in a week today. When I'm filming this, this is uploading a couple days later. But so a week today, I'm going to go for my 4th session and we're going to start coloring. I cannot wait. So the coloring section is like the most exciting, the most like, it's just because that's when the real details start to show everything. Like it just like, this looks amazing already. Once it's all colored, it's gonna be like pop, 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 pop. It's gonna be so amazing. I'm so excited. I'm assuming we'll probably start coloring this section first because this is like the oldest section, which is like the most healed. So I'm assuming he'll probably start coloring in the order that he did them. I'm gonna get together like a load of new images of like paraphernalia that's kind of involved in the games. Now, one common thing that actually seems to link a lot of these together is like Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and Sonic and Knuckles all collect gems and like crystals. So I'm gonna put like some like Crash Bandicoot, like the big pink gems on it. Some of the boxes like the TNT box and like the nitrous box. And then obviously Spyro also collects gems, so I put some of the gems from Spyro on there. Maybe get him to put like Sparks, the little gold dragonfly on there, maybe a 2. Sonic, I know do have like a few rings, but he also collects gems as well. So maybe add like a couple of the gems from Sonic as well. So weirdly, that was unintentionally something that happened. In my mind, picking these characters, I didn't think, oh, they all collect gems. So it blends nicely together, which is going to be really good. I did have another character that I did put on my list, which was Banjo-Kazooie. So I, of course, love Banjo-Kazooie too. I'm not completely striking them out of the list, and I might extend it, maybe like coming along here. I haven't told him this yet, but I might extend it, just coming along here, Banjo-Kazooie kind of like here on the top part of my chest. I haven't decided yet, but I want to focus on the arm first because it'll be easy kind of like to blend this in. So we will see. But Banjo-Kazooie was technically on the list, but I knew that I would have to maybe make a cut with some of them. But again, with my order of what I wanted, I love all the characters equally, so I wasn't really too fussed which made the cut and which didn't. I am so excited to start coloring. It's going to be so good. I cannot wait. I'm just so happy with it now. Like no matter what angle I look at my arm, there is tattoo. There's one section here that's kind of a little bit empty, like this part here of my arm, but we will fill that in with like, again, like gems and paraphernalia, all that kind of stuff involved in the game. So, oh my God, I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I can't wait to get on with the next section. It's just gonna be, I just can't wait. Thank you so much for everyone who's been joining me on the journey. I'm so happy, excited. Again, shout out to Hyro from Morningstar Tattoos. Thank you for being so wonderful. You are such a pleasure to be around when we tattoo. We just basically just chat shit all day when we're together. Please hit the like button. If you do have any other questions, by the way, if you have any questions about my tattoo process, leave them down below. And in my next session, I'll try to answer as many as I possibly can. My next video, I'll try to answer as many as I possibly can. Yes, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos that are coming up. Today's Twitch shout out goes to Gold Panda Paw. Thank you for following me over on Twitch. And if you would like to be in with the chance of being in the next Twitch shout out, come follow me over on Twitch. It's Roly West. I stream 3 to 4 nights a week. We have a few games going on at the moment, so come join the fun. We have a lot of fun over on Twitch, and come join the fun. A massive shout out to my lovely Patreons whose names you can see on the side of the screen here. Thank you for being my Patreon. You guys are wonderful. And an extra special shout out to my top tier Patreons: Aurora666, Benjamin Baker, Bethard, Booshot93, Brenner, Kaz.Thumb, Shell Herman, Christina Kyle, Con Pepperton, Diana Nida, Helen McFarland, Aya, Joanna Course, Caitlin Wright, Kelly Bowser, Chloe Louise, Laura Alice, Monica Corgi, Petra Selenis, Rachel The Sea Biscuit, Robin Scott, Sam Perfect, and Steph Utek. Thank you for being my top tier Patreons. You guys are incredible. There's a link down below if you would like to become part of the Patreon family as well. But anyway, be fabulous, be amazing, be gay, be everything you want to be, and don't let any bitches that say that you can't be you. Why is that? Because you're a flawless girl.